These deadly attacks in Brussels have had a worldwide impact. And in Boston, we're even starting to feel it. That's more than 3,400 miles away. Students are now wondering whether or not they should even consider studying abroad. Let's see if these acts of terror were enough for students to put their passports away for good.
She joins us live from NC State with her stories. Shawna?
So you've just blown out your candles on your 18th birthday. What's the big whoop? Well, you've just reached a milestone in your life and you can finally vote. But for a lot of students in North Carolina, they're realizing that right to vote, well, it isn't always guaranteed. It is now the second day here at the New Hampshire Student Primary Convention where we just heard from Governor Chris Christie. He delivered his stance on tenure and also sex trafficking. We still have 3 more Republican candidates coming up later, so make sure you stick with us to see who they are. Many students here in North Carolina aren't actually from North Carolina. Out-of-state licenses like this one you see here may not do any good when you go to vote. Now, despite the recent attacks in Belgium, students are not letting fear get in the way of traveling the world. Located just behind me, as you can see, is the basin of the Fall River Bridge here in North Weymouth, which is the proposed site for the compressor station. What a busy second day it has been here at the convention. Earlier I told you that we were able to hear from Chris Christie, but 3 more Republican candidates also spoke to us, including Jim Gilmore, Rand Paul, and of course Carly Fiorina. Their mission was to try and educate students more about their own policies, but to also get them more civically involved. Did their mission work? You'll see tomorrow. Make sure you stay tuned for day 3. Now this heat wave down here in Texas is slowly moving its way up to Boston. Let's take a look at our part of the neighborhood. Some students are feeling the burn. Others want to make America great again. Meredith College students are joining millions of millennials in this political revolution.
We are the ones who are going to be those taxpayers. We are the ones who are going to be living out those laws, and we want to make a say in who we want to create those laws.
We're going to be on History Channel one day. This is, we're in the thick of it. This is the most historic election, the most exciting of our times.
If you don't like how things are in your city, your state, your country, this is your chance. This is your only chance.
Millions of people are coming in to vote.
Others say there is no chance because our system is broken.
When it comes to the actual problems that we do care about, no one's really caring because they're like, oh, listen to what Trump said.
Others believe it's not just the system that's at fault.
The size of the millennial generation is the same size as the baby boomer generation, so it's a huge part, but they just don't vote as much.
In addition, the new voter ID law might be discouraging some from participating. Many students here in North Carolina aren't actually from North Carolina. Out-of-state licenses like this one you see here may not do any good when you go to vote.
I think that it's a pretty blatant attack on certain demographics of our state.
Though not all agree that the law is part of the problem.
The voter ID law is a good thing. I think it's accessible enough for all Americans.
For this subset of Americans, the challenges are real, and only their political engagement can overcome them. Now, if you do have an out-of-state license, don't worry about it. There's still a way that you can get one, and in time for the next election. All you have to do is grab your social, head to the local licensing DMV, and file the correct paperwork. I'm Shawna Newcomb reporting live from NC State. 1, 2, 3. The Islamic State claims responsibility for yet another attack, this time in Brussels. The fear created overseas is also felt here in the States.
It does kind of scare me because what if I had graduated maybe like a year later, like I could have been there.
But study abroad programs are not stopping students from going wherever they so choose.
There's safety in numbers, and so when you go somewhere, be smart with who you're going out with, be careful, and we give those tips to students regardless of where they're going.
And students are not letting fear get in the way of traveling the world.
I tend not to let fear guide my decisions, so I feel like no one should let that interfere with their schooling and their education.
I think the one thing to tell students is that you should still keep traveling. You should be alert and take caution, but you shouldn't let these attacks instill fear in you.
Now, I have traveled multiple times out of the country, and so I agree with those students who say, just go for it. Of course, you are going to have to be a little bit more aware of your surroundings. For Suffolk in the City, I'm Shawna Newcomb, NECN. Who says a Republican can't win over a blue state? Donald Trump is trying one voter, one signature at a time, starting here in the small town of Tyngsboro, Massachusetts.
I love Massachusetts. I love it. Why do they always say that a Republican can't win Massachusetts? I think we can. You know why? I think the Democrats are so sick and tired of watching our country lose that they're going to vote for the Republican if this is the one. I really believe.
Right now, I am standing on the platform that the Republican candidate for the 2016 upcoming presidential election, Donald Trump, just stood on when he delivered to 4,000 people his stance on immigration and foreign policy.
His stance on immigration, I tend to agree with a lot. They're illegal immigrants. They're here illegally. You can't deport 11 million people from the country, but the ones that are here and that are committing crimes and that have prior records should be deported.
I believe we should build the wall. I think that it's important for people to go through the system legally, and we have to do it the right way.
Many spectators actually left during the rally in reaction to Trump's anchor baby comment.
How can somebody coming in illegally, lying down, having a baby, congratulations, citizen?
Despite the controversy in regards to that statement, Trump remains optimistic with Massachusetts voters.
Something incredible and something beautiful is happening. Things are going on in Massachusetts. You're going to have people voting for me that never voted for a Republican before.
After posing for some photos and making his way through the rowdy crowd, Trump was off to his next campaign stop. In a fight to preserve Weymouth's natural state, constituents joined forces with their state officials at Representative Murphy's The Unity Against the Compressor Station event at the Abigail Adams State Park. Spectra Energy, a Houston-based energy company, plans to expand its Algonquin and maritime pipelines through the North Weymouth community as a means to meet their increasing natural gas demand. What looks to be a long road ahead does not deter Representative James Murphy from moving Weymouth to Spectra's list of alternative sites.
Persistence pays off. Things don't happen overnight. It's not a 1 or 2 meeting project and all of a sudden you walk away, everything will be okay.
Unifying events like today is exactly what the town needs.
Having something like this gets the attention of the state administration to help us in that battle with this federal agency that we're up against here.
Being a member of the Quincy delegation, I work very closely with Representative Murphy, and it's an important issue, I think, for the whole South Shore. So to come down to Weymouth this morning and show that we're united at the State House fighting against this, I think is very important.
Located just behind me, as you can see, is the basin of the Fall River Bridge here in North Weymouth, which is the proposed site for the compressor station. Although the Spectra Energy Company says that it would not pose a threat to the environment or to the well-being of the residents here in Weymouth, many locals today seem to disagree.
If there was to be a compressor station here, I think the home values would definitely go down. They are loud, they produce benzene, which causes cancer. It would definitely just be a public health hazard.
The health impacts of a compressor station, or any industry or business of that matter, really means a lot to me because I'm concerned about my children's health.
To put this type of a compressor station down in that area just complexes the whole matter. We don't like what's down there now. This only adds to it.
Representative Murphy is determined to uphold Weymouth resident Mary Toomey's fight to keep Weymouth beautiful.
And I promise her, even as a candidate, that I would continue what she started years ago along with my friends here in government. That's a promise I continue to keep today.
But why exactly does Spectra want to come to Weymouth?
It's a matter of financing, and this is the cheaper way out. It's easier if they put it near their lines rather than in a different location.
Although FERC has never denied the assembly of a compressor station on any site in the past, Town Councilor Becky Haw remains optimistic.
I want us to be the ones who finally make our federal government finally stand up and say no for the people.
Who's ready for a political revolution? Suffolk University students are, and they just keep pouring in. Democrat Bernie Sanders is sticking to his promise, free college tuition. Although popular amongst millennials, opinions about whether or not this plan can actually be achieved are split down the middle.
I don't know. I really like it, But at the same time, I don't know if Congress would pass that.
I hope it could, but I realistically don't think that it will happen.
I believe his aim is to get all of the revenue from taxes from people with higher incomes. It's not just everybody's salary and everybody's income, which would be ridiculous. But I think it could be achievable, and I do agree and like the idea.
I hope he can, but it's going to take more than just like, oh, we'll raise taxes and then college will be free.
But will the Bernie Sanders revolution really be enough to get the students out to the voting polls come election day?
Everyone is really excited to hear what young people, what young constituents have to say. So yes, it's really important to get out the vote, to make sure everyone's registered, to make sure people's voices are heard.